What if I told you that surviving a medieval winter wasn't just about enduring the cold? It was about fighting for your life. Imagine waking up every day to find your home freezing, your food supply dwindling, and your only source of warmth a flickering fire that could go out at any moment. How far would you go to stay warm? How long could you survive without modern comforts, with nothing but wool, wood, and willpower to protect you? Step back in time to a world where winter wasn't just a season. It was a deadly enemy. This is the story of how our ancestors fought the bitter cold with everything they had. And sometimes, it still wasn't enough. Are you ready to face the chilling truth of how they survived the harshest winters history has ever known? Hit that subscribe button and let's uncover the shocking realities of medieval winter survival together. In the biting cold of winter, coins meant little in poor villages. Survival often depended on barter. A bundle of firewood could be exchanged for a chunk of salted meat. A woolen scarf hand-woven by a child might earn a few eggs or a warm blanket. This wasn't just trade. It was lifeline diplomacy in a world where every item had survival value. Even the youngest played crucial roles. They weren't coddled. They were contributors. Children helped gather kindling, chased off predators, and tended to chickens or goats. From the moment they could walk, they were taught to recognize signs of frostbite, how to keep a fire going, and how to patch worn clothing with clumsy but life-saving stitches. While snow blanketed the earth outside, clever peasants kept life growing indoors. Clay pots with hardy herbs like sage or thyme were placed near hearths, using residual heat for survival gardening. Some even sprouted onion tops or grew greens in wooden boxes filled with soil and manure, turning smoky homes into miniature winter gardens. Beds weren't soft, but they were strategic. People layered straw, dried moss, furs, and patched cloth to insulate sleeping areas. Those who could afford it stuffed sacks with feathers. Sleeping elevated from the floor prevented direct contact with cold earth. These nests of warmth were crucial, especially when nights dipped below freezing and frost crept inside. Medieval minds sought meaning in every snowflake. A sudden storm could be interpreted as divine anger or a sign of evil spirits at play. People believed halos around the moon warned of blizzards. They lit candles at doorways, muttered blessings, or placed iron above thresholds, all in hopes of warding off curses carried by the cold wind. When larders emptied and cellars grew bare, desperation turned creative. Bark was stripped from trees, boiled into bitter broth. Wild weeds, frozen berries, and even insects were added to thin stews. Bones were boiled over and over again, hoping to draw out a final hint of nourishment. Hunger in winter knew no dignity, only necessity. To let the fire die was to let death in. Families took turns staying awake at night, feeding the fire in silence while others slept. The rotating night watch wasn't just about warmth. It protected against thieves, wild animals, or sudden chimney flare-ups. A single, glowing coal could mean the difference between life and frostbite. Darkness wasn't just physical, it was spiritual. Villagers hung garlic on doors, painted crosses above hearths, or scattered salt around beds. It was believed that winter made spirits restless. Parents whispered to children that unseen creatures roamed the night, so they prayed, sang hymns, or kept a lantern burning, hoping to hold the darkness at bay. Though they had no word for it, people knew winter affected the soul. Spirits dimmed with each passing gray day. The once lively grew quiet. Villages combated this by holding story circles, sharing music, or retelling ancestral legends beside the fire. These rituals gave them light when sunlight was a rare guest. Dogs slept at their master's feet not for love, but for warmth. Goats were housed in kitchens or one-room huts. Their body heat added vital degrees to the room. In some homes, people built pens inside their houses for pigs or sheep, turning livestock into living heaters as well as food sources. Without electricity, the only light came from flickering flames. Families crafted candles from animal fat, smelly, smoky, but essential. They reused old bits of string or plant fiber for wicks. Wealthier homes might have metal lanterns, but most relied on simple clay holders. Every candle was precious, rationed carefully and reused until it sputtered out. Barns weren't just for storage, they were warm sanctuaries. Thick walls of hay trapped animal heat. Farmers strategically built homes close to barns, or even shared walls, so warmth from cows and horses could seep in. The lowing of cattle was more than background noise. It was the sound of shared survival. Nothing was wasted. Old clothes became patches. Broken tools were reworked into something new. Even cracked pottery was sealed with pitch or used for storage. Winter taught resourcefulness, the ability to make do with what was already there, because the next chance to trade or travel might be weeks away. Firewood was everything. Warmth, cooking, light. Families planned wood-cutting routes in autumn. Trees were chopped with care. Branches dried on rooftops, and damp wood was avoided at all costs. Some households buried logs in snow to keep them dry. The loss of firewood to rot or theft could be a death sentence. When storms raged and snow blocked roads, people turned inward. Women spun wool, men carved handles or sharpened tools. Children made kindling bundles or helped wind thread. Every hand stayed busy. Not because of boredom, but because every craft was an act of survival, a preparation for tomorrow's unknown challenge. Medicine was in the pantry, not the pharmacy. Dried herbs like mint, yarrow, or thyme were brewed into teas to fight coughs or colds. Garlic was eaten raw, believed to fight infection. Honey was both food and antiseptic. Without doctors nearby, healing was homemade. Guided by wisdom passed down through generations. Churches were more than spiritual centers. During blizzards, they became shelters. Stone walls held warmth longer than thatch homes. Priests stored dried bread, wine, and sometimes salted meat for the desperate. Villagers huddled there not just for prayer, but for protection. In winter, faith fed both the soul and the body. Wells froze. Rivers vanished beneath ice. So snow was melted daily, sometimes filtered through cloth to remove ash or dirt. Women boiled huge pots of it for cooking and cleaning. Gathering clean snow was a chore, and keeping it from freezing again took planning. Even water in winter became a labor of will. Root vegetables like turnips, carrots, and onions were eaten first, before they spoiled. Grains were saved for midwinter when fresh food ran out. Dried fruits and salted fish were rationed like treasure. Food was rotated based on shelf life, and one miscalculation could leave a family starving before spring arrived. Winter turned roads to traps. Snow swallowed paths, bridges vanished under ice, and thieves used whiteouts to strike. Villagers avoided travel unless absolutely necessary. If someone did leave, they carried fire-starting kits, dried meat, and prayers. Some never came back, vanished into the white silence of a brutal season. So now you've witnessed it. Not just the bitter cold, but the untold fight for survival in a world where winter showed no mercy. These people didn't live through winter. They battled it. With shaking hands, empty bellies, and flickering flames, they clung to life when everything tried to steal it from them. And yet, they survived. Not with comfort, but with courage. Not with luxury, but with grit. Their story isn't just history. It's a reminder of what it truly means to endure. But the journey doesn't end here. In the next chapter, we explore a forgotten world of medieval fruits and superfoods, once essential to survival, now vanished from our tables. What secrets did these lost foods hold? And why did they disappear from our modern diets? Hit that like button, share with fellow history lovers, and subscribe so you don't miss the next hidden chapter of the medieval world. Because the past isn't gone. It's waiting to be rediscovered.